In his book, The Republic, the Greek academic Plato, over 2,000 years ago, wrote about the allegory of the cave. And the allegory of the cave is an incredible story that all coaches need to understand. And it goes something like this. There were 3 prisoners chained in a dark cave. They'd been there forever. They'd only knew life inside of this cave. They hadn't seen the big world outside of the cave. They'd just seen the shadows and the symbols of people walking behind the cave with the light that would shine in front of them as they were shackled to the cave. One day, one of the prisoners somehow broke free and found his way out of the cave and saw everything outside. The sun, his eyes were blinded by the sun. He saw animals and houses and so many different plants and food and cities and whatnot. So he had seen a whole new reality outside of the cave that he'd never known about before. So he realized that he needed to go back to tell his friends, his 2 prisoner friends back in the cave. So he went back into the cave, and it was dark in there, so it took a while for his eyes to adjust. And he would look all disheveled because his eyes hadn't adjusted back to the light. And they laughed at him. They did not believe what he had to say. His reality of this new world outside, they had no concept of it. They just thought he was a mess. So this story is how we all go about life. We all, when we're communicating with others, are communicating with people that have had a whole different experience to us. So it's little wonder that sometimes communication can break down, because we're talking to people that have seen other things and others that haven't. People that have a whole different worldview through no fault of their own. People have completely different perspectives. So when we're working with teams and students, we need to come from a place of humility that we don't know it all and that people have a completely different way of thinking about things. So this allows us to be so much more dynamic and flexible in understanding and very curious about how we're communicating with our team and our students. But it's a really powerful story to share with people that you're working with about the allegory of the cave. And it really builds a team of trust and empathy and brings people along. We're not all the same. We're all different. But that's what makes us have a common ground. The fact that we are all different.